Hey guys, Tony here. Welcome back. The circle of conspiracy theory clickbaiters on YouTube. Who is the ringleader of it, and why are they pumping out this message that AMC is 74% owned by institutions? There's a dozen sites that cover institutional ownership, but they only want to focus on one. Why is that? Let's dig into the real information on today's episode of FUDBusters.
Uncle Frank sent me the screenshot this morning.
I'm going to give you guys in this video the rock solid information, the rock solid evidence that Tipranks is a junk website that should not be relied on. But I want you to see how the clickbait telephone game works, where someone like Uncle Frank, who some people, I don't know why, think is legitimate, puts out a message to people who don't really know better, and then they all rush out videos, and he can just sit back and have the dirty work done. And I'm not going to blame the YouTubers who put out the videos because they probably don't know any better. This is complicated stuff, and at the very end of this video, I'll teach you in a couple seconds what forms you need to look for instead of using these junk websites. But let's see what happens in the conspiracy theorists' minds and the thousands and thousands and thousands of people who watch their videos fall for this crap. Let's see exactly how bad it gets, and then we'll talk about the evidence and the real data.
Uncle Frank sent me the screenshot this morning about insiders owning 74% of AMC shares, and I thought it was like outdated. Then after doing a little bit of research, this is what they're reporting. They're reporting that corporate insiders own 74% of AMC shares. Now, how is that mathematically possible when retail investors have owned over 90% of AMC for the last 3 years? When is the SEC, when is the DOJ, when is the FBI going to get a calculator and add this up and realize that there has to be billions of counterfeit AMC shares? Where did they get these shares from? This is just a market maker creating shares and giving it to these guys to electronically put in their portfolio. This is an AMC RICO conspiracy. Okay, there's no other explanation for this.
Well, I have one other possible explanation, the correct one. The website you're using is junk, and the data that they are showing you is completely false. As a wise man once told me.
But like I tell every day, the data they release us is false. And then it gives a false narrative to the market so we can make bad trading decisions.
You are actually correct, Donahue. The data you were given here is false, and it could lead you to make bad trading decisions. And you should ask yourself, the people that are sending you these links and telling you to check this out and making a video of it, should they know better? Should they know better? Are they the ones that are giving you the false narrative, Donahue? Who are these YouTubers that are sending out this information to other YouTubers to encourage them to make videos? You guys should be asking yourselves these questions. Do you think they should know better? Do you think that they know there are 20 different sites that you can get accurate information from besides this junk website? Do you think that they might have taken 1 minute to check some other data sources besides this one website? Should they know better? Should they know better? But you can see how this junk website leads people into making videos talking about billions of synthetic shares and where is the SEC and the FBI and the DOJ. This is hogwash talk, because first of all, you should really check your data sources before getting thousands of your viewers and subscribers riled up with the wrong information. But I'll forgive Donahue because I know he's a busy guy and he probably just didn't have time to check it. But Donahue, I want you to think about where you're getting your information from, and remember that I am always here as a resource for you to bounce stuff off of. I do this all day. Now let's move on to my second favorite clickbait YouTuber, and let's see what he has to say about this website.
So where is 74% of the shares? Where are they coming from? And then somehow Wanda has moved back in, where Beijing Wanda and Wanda America Entertainment now owns 35.95% of AMC now. Now it's all starting to make sense to me. Now I've told y'all what all of this bull crap with this vote that everybody's done forgot that we've got going on right now on June 5th. All right, to where we vote rather to remove the anti-takeover matters. All right, so they have effectively taken over the shares, but they can't take over the board. All right, which they're trying to give it to them. It's not like it's a secret no more.
You guys kind of get the drift of how this works. Someone who knows better feeds information to people who don't really know better, but are believers in conspiracy theories like hostile takeovers and rigged votes. And he doesn't give them any other resources to check. And they know, these guys know that Wanda and Antara sold their position, but because they saw one website and didn't bother to check 20 other websites, they roll out these videos to you guys and then get tens of thousands of people believing misinformation and incorrect conspiracy theories. I have been on Tipranks' ass for 2 days to correct this misinformation. And to their credit, even though they haven't corrected the chart that you see here, it still says 74%. When we scroll down to the table showing the top shareholders, you can see that they have now removed the erroneous data of Antara and Wanda owning any position in AMC. Yesterday, they published a tweet trying to explain where their data came from and to back up their side of the story. But if you know anything about SEC filings for beneficial ownership, this is absolute hogwash here, saying that they get their data from the Form 4s. That's fine. I mean, we use the Form 4s, but they're missing the 13D, the 13Fs, the 13Gs, and that was their mistake. And so to their credit, they have fixed it. Will they fix the graph? I don't know. What are the 13D, the 13F, and the 13G? They are reports that institutions who own more than 5% of a company must file on a regular basis. It's called a beneficial ownership report. And there are minor differences between the criteria of which form, a D, F, or G, that a company must file. But keep that one in mind, the Schedule 13. That is the primary report that these websites should be getting their data from. The Schedule 13 forms are used for any institution which owns more than 5% of a company's stock. And the other form that we mentioned was the Form 4. That is, instead of a beneficial owner, a insider filing, and that form is required for any institution or individual or insider that owns more than 10% of a company's stock. Sometimes someone like Antara might start off filing Form 4s because for a while they owned more than 10% of the APE preferred equity units, and then as they sold it off, they stopped needing to file the Form 4 updates, and they went into the Schedule 13 category because they owned more than 5% but less than 10%. Yeah, this is all kind of complicated. And once they drop below 5%, then no more forms are required to be filed. It seems like the major mistake that Tipranks made when Antara and Wanda transitioned from using Form 4s to Schedule 13Ds as their ownership percentage dropped, Tipranks missed their exit. And so they still show erroneous data that is 1 to 3 years old and incorrect. And if you want to read more about these forms, I'll put a link to this website in the video description for you. I have covered this topic, including FUDBuster videos, at least 3 times over the last 2 to 3 years. You can go back and still find those videos if you search on my channel for institutional ownership. And I give you some tips on good websites to use and how to avoid the bad ones. And there's still going to be some variation between website to website. So you do need to take things with a grain of salt, but when it looks really, really odd, like Tipranks saying insiders own 74%, that should be a clue that you need to do more work and check more resources. We can see here that Fidelity has the institutional ownership of AMC at 19.9%, and the inside ownership at 0.3%. And that is pretty close to correct. The extent to which things might be different from website to website, they're all going to be numbers very close to this, 19%, 21, 23. It depends when a company is diluting if the data provider to these websites has updated the float. So the percentages might be slightly off from website to website, but they certainly should not say that the insiders own 74%, because that is clearly in error. As far as institutional ownership, the final screenshots I want to share with you on that is the current numbers in the Bloomberg terminal showing all the major institutional holders and how many shares they have. And then we have this other screenshot that summarizes that data. And you'll notice up in the top left-hand corner, it says that the institutional ownership is 28% of the float. Even the Bloomberg terminal has not updated to the correct float for AMC. So that 28% number will come down to some number in the low 20s once they do their internal update. On the right-hand side table up at the top, you'll see insider shares held, percentage of shares held, 0.3, and that correlates to what you saw on the Fidelity screenshot that I just had up there. These are the correct numbers. These are what the professionals are working with. They aren't using some hack junk website like Tipranks. Now, I could make this video 5 minutes more longer and show you guys the exact forms of where Antara and Wanda exited their position. However, I'd like to instead show you the tool and challenge the YouTubers who are covering stocks maybe to learn a little bit about how the market works and what forms are used, and then you can more easily in the future spot when an error happens, because you can go to the source yourself. This is the SEC Edgar website. Once we type in AMC, there is this table over here on the right that says ownership disclosures, and we can open that up and we can look at all of the insider transactions, the Form 4s, and we can look at all of the beneficial ownership, which is all of the 13Ds, 13Fs. And I guarantee you, if you search through here with the keywords, you can find the forms where Antara and Wanda both exited their position. One other little extra tip, make sure you select the box beneficial ownership reports when you type in your keyword up here for Antara, and click on filed to sort by the latest date, because you might not get the dates in order the first time your search results come in. And you guys know, you know better, that if they had taken a new position, like these YouTubers featured in this video are trying to tell you, if these companies had taken a new position, you would also be able to find a Form 4 or a Form 13D, because they're required to file it, where they reestablished their position. They have only a certain amount of days where they must file that form, and I can promise you that those forms do not exist. So have some fun, learn a little bit, go play around on the SEC Edgar website, or you can just use reputable websites to get your data from. And always feel free to reach out to me if something seems a little bit off, because I am here to provide you non-emotional, factual information. And you know I hate to be wrong. Leave me your comments and questions down below. I am Tony Denaro, and I will see ya on the next video. FUDBusters.